Okay guys, so if you are using Webflow to design websites for your clients, then you seriously need to check out Web Studio. This thing is just amazing. Sure, I get it, Webflow has been around longer, but trust me, Web Studio is coming for that top spot very soon. Why? Well, first, it's open source. So if you go to their GitHub repo, you'll find the source code that runs their platform. So that means that if someone needs an extra feature that doesn't exist yet, well, they can simply build it themselves and submit it on GitHub for implementation in future versions. So that's called a pull request, basically. Yeah? Now imagine how fast that solution can grow when hundreds or maybe thousands of developers worldwide come together to improve that solution. Now clearly you can't do that with Webflow. You have to wait for the developers to finally get around to do it. And I'm not kidding here. I've seen suggestions and ideas that were submitted on the Webflow website years ago that are still in the pipeline. They still haven't been implemented. Second, Web Studio's deployment on the Cloudflare Edge network promises exceptional load speed and global reach for dynamic or static websites. And the third reason why I like Web Studio is their pricing structure. So basically with Web Studio you can start immediately for free. As always, I'll leave the link in the description below. As you can see, hobby $0, up to 5 custom domains, 2 gig of asset storage, 10,000 page views per month, unlimited sites, unlimited pages, unlimited collaborators. So that's not too bad at all, for free when you think of it, okay? And you can have the next one up here, the Pro version for $20 per month. Everything from the hobby plan, except here you get 20 gig of asset storage and 100,000 page views per month, and also those 2 options here. So this is not too bad. Now here's the thing I really like with them, which you don't have with Webflow, is a lifetime feature. So as you can see here, for $4.99, so you invest $500 upfront and you get lifetime access. So that's everything from the hobby plan, so this one, plus unlimited custom domain, unlimited storage, unlimited form submissions, and the only limitations basically is 1 million page views per month. 1 million page views, okay? So that's not too bad. Now if you go to the next one up for $9.99, unlimited page views as well. Okay guys, don't worry, I'm not gonna ask you to spend $999 or $499, not even $20 per month. I have a special deal for you today where you can access Web Studio for just $59 US only for the license tier 1. Now, let me show you what you get for that price. So this will give you lifetime access to Web Studio, and you'll get all the Pro plan updates as well. So again, just to confirm, this is a one-time purchase deal, okay? So you pay $59 today and it's yours forever. So how's that for a fantastic deal? Now, there are 2 more plans you can choose from, and don't worry, you can easily upgrade or downgrade from one to the other plan. And finally, I think that the way they've built this thing is absolutely amazing. It's super user-friendly. You know what? Let me show you this in action now. Okay, very good. So now let me show you how this works. So for this, you go to apps.webstudio.is /login, and here you can sign in using your Google account or your GitHub account. So I'm just going to use my Google account here. Okay, just click on this button. I select my own ID here, and this is your dashboard. As you can see, I have 1 project at the moment. You have a few templates you can select from as well. Okay, so basically to start a new project, all you have to do is click on this button here, new project, and give it a title. So I'm going to call this one Mr. Web Test. Okay, and then create project. Very good, and this is our workspace. So this looks very, very similar to Webflow, you know. So if you're used to Webflow, you won't feel too out of touch here because it's very, very similar, like I said, you know. So here, as you can see, you can add your different components, and this is basically your page, and then you can customize this as well. So these are all your page settings that you can put in place. This is your navigator. This is your assets, so media library. And here they have an AI tool as well, and you can create things directly from here. And it's really up to you if you want to use AI or not, but I think we're going to start from scratch. I'm going to show you how you can create anything exactly the same way you would in Webflow. So let's exit out of this. Let's go back to our navigator, and here we have the body of our page, and now we can start adding different elements. So we can add a section maybe, and then different containers, and so on and so on. So how do you do so? Very easy. You go by the side, click the plus sign, and they call box basically. Okay, so let's add a box. So this is our main body, and this is going to be maybe, let's say, hero section. Okay, just like this. So let's proceed step by step. Usually in your hero section, you have a background image. So let me show you how you can add this first, okay? So right here by the side, you have all the styling features. So you have your margins, your padding, how you want to display it, block or flex container. That's again up to you, you know, if you want to use flex container works as well. And then you scroll down, you have all related to the size, the position, the typography, the background, borders, box shadow, all the different effects, outline and transition, and then your main settings here. So these are basically the main properties of your section here, the block that you just added, okay? So let me show you how we can change this. So first, let's set a minimum height of at least 600 pixels. As you can see by the side, you have pixels, percent, EM, REM, and so on. So let's set pixels here, and I'm going to set this to 620 pixels, just like this, okay? So there you go. This is our hero section. And now let's add an image as a background. So we scroll down the page. As you can see, you have background, you have the color and the plus sign here. So let's add an image. And here we're going to select, we have none at the moment. So double click on it, choose an image, upload an image, and we have one here, okay? So this is a mountain view, okay? And once this is uploaded, simply double click on it and it will display as your background. Now we can set everything up how we want to display it. So we're going to display it centered, okay? And then the size will be cover. So we have the full image here in the background. So that looks great already. And then you have the borders here. As you can see, color is black and width is 1 pixel. So we're going to put 0 here. We don't want any. And as you may have noticed, every time you change a parameter here, it will basically show this in blue. So what you can do is basically reset the value if you wanted to. I could reset this and it will revert back to the previous settings. Okay, so I'm just going to set it to 0. We don't need any borders here. Now, if you don't want to display all the information here, click on the title, okay, and it will collapse or expand the content simply like this, okay? So that's really up to you depending what you're working on. Maybe it's too much information visually as well. You can easily do so. Very good. So now as part of a hero section, what do we usually have? We have a heading, we have a subheading or a paragraph, and then a call to action button. So let me show you how you can create this here. So right here we have our body and hero section. So make sure you select the hero section, okay? So let's click on the plus sign, let's add a block, and let's call this one container. Okay, so this is our main container. Now inside the container, we're going to add 3 blocks, and inside those blocks, we'll have those 3 different elements, okay? So make sure you select container plus, so block, container, add block, container, add block. Very good. So now they are inside our container, which is inside our hero section. As you can see, our 3 different boxes here, and this is our main container. Now we want this container to be centered here in the middle as well, and add maybe some padding all around it, and then maybe add a background color or maybe some glass morphism effect or something like this, okay? So obviously we want our container to be centered here and also in the middle. So for this, we go back to our hero section, and we're going to turn this into a flex container. It's probably easier. And as you can see right here, you can select where you want to display it. As you can see, you can have it on top, at the bottom, bottom left, bottom right, whichever way, you know. And here you can select which direction you want to go as well, or you can select them manually as well. So we could have them to stretch and maybe center here. Again, that's really up to you, you know. You can decide whichever way you want to display it. Okay, so let's keep it like this. I think it's fine. We can add a bit of padding maybe by the side, so 40 pixels on the left, 40 pixels on the right, and let's add some on top and bottom as well. Again, 40 and 40, so all over, you know, it's going to have a nice look like this. So now let's add all the different elements. So we're going to have a heading, a paragraph, and a call to action button. So we go to this box here, plus, and then heading. In this box, we're going to add a paragraph, and in this box, we're going to add a button, okay? So that's our call to action button. Now let's go back to our container here and add a bit of padding all around it. So we're going to add 40 on top, 40 at the bottom to add a bit of breathing space, and I think everything else is fine. Now let's add a background color here, okay? So for this, we scroll down our options here. We have the color. So let's select maybe a dark shade of black, maybe a bit of transparency as well, you know, just like this. So this should be fine. Now, if you wanted to add a CSS effect, like for instance, glass morphism or something like this, you can easily do so by adding the CSS code right here at the bottom. As you can see, you have opacity, blend mode, cursor, and so on, and you have the backdrop filler. Okay, so here at the moment there's none at the minute, so you can select a few different ones, or you can literally delete this and insert whatever you want. So as you can see, I'm going to insert blur 12 pixels and then saturate it at 180%. And as you can see, now we have a beautiful glass morphism effect. So let's try maybe a bit less than this, maybe 8 pixels. Okay, and the saturation maybe, let's try 150, okay, and see what it looks like. So that's not too bad at all. Again, feel free to play around with this. I'm just showing you the ropes here and how you can do so. Now let's add maybe some rounded edges here. So I'm going to add border radius. So I have the borders here, so the width of our border should be set to 0, and the radius, let's try maybe 25, see what it looks like. Yeah, that's not too bad actually. Let's keep it like this. And now we can configure the content. So we go to our heading here. So double click on it to change the text. So this is my main heading. Make it interesting. So clearly there is no contrast between this and the background. So we have to change the color. So let's go back here, typography, font color. I'm going to select white. Okay. And there you go. That's much better. And then we can insert our main paragraph here. So highlight this and type your text. Okay, so since we have a picture of nature here, I came up with something like this, you know, discover the wonders of the natural world, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so again, here we're going to change the typography color. It's going to make it white. So at the moment it's on one single line. I don't think it looks good. Maybe we have this on 2 different lines. We can squeeze that in a little bit. So again, for this, we're going to add a bit of padding on each side. So as you can see, I have pixels here. We can also have % or EM, REM, or whichever, you know. So I'm going to try maybe 20% here. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, we'll have to try it first, and 20 here. Oh yeah, that's absolutely fine. And then we need a bit of spacing, like I said, you know, between here and the button. So here at the bottom is going to be pixels. Maybe let's try 40. Okay, that's fine. And now let's take care of our button here. So the reason why I inserted a button here is because by default you would think that this is a button and nothing else. This is what you need, but a button here, funny enough, in Web Studio has different functionalities. So if you go to settings here, it will serve as a button, it will serve as a submit button, or maybe a reset. So if you click on the plus sign here, as you can see, you have the expression here, and you can edit that as well. So in our case, we don't need a button. We actually need a link. So let me show you the difference between the two. Okay, so if you go here and click link, so as you can see, this is a link and this is a button. So again, a button has different functionality. So it could be for submit, for a form or something like this. In our case, it's not a button that we need. It's actually a link. So we want to link this to an internal pages, maybe the about us section, or maybe a contact form or something like this. Okay, so that's the reason why I showed you both here, so you can see the difference. Now we can delete the button. Okay, and let's use our link instead. And now we can start customizing this. So here we're going to change the text. Okay, so first we're going to change this to book now, for instance. Okay, or register online or whatever it is. And now we can customize this and stylize this by the side. So as you can see, typography color, we're going to change this to perhaps black. Okay, so for this, we're going to add the background color here. So we're going to select white. Okay, we're going to add a bit of padding all around it. So if you use the Alt key, you can change this from top and bottom. So let's add maybe 10 on top. Let's try maybe 12, maybe 12, let's 15. Let's go with 15. And the same here with those ones. So a bit more, maybe 40 here. Okay, and then we can add a little bit of border radius to round this up a little bit. So where is our border radius? So the width of our border 0 and border radius, let's try maybe 15. Okay, that's fine. Yes. And now let me show you how you can have a hover color as well. So if you go to the play where quick preview, as you can see, if you hover on top, it keeps the same color. So that's not what we want. So right here, as you can see, you can select the style source. So here, instead of local, select hover. And now we can change our color here. So here, you're going to select your own color. So let's go maybe with let's say maybe a gray color, maybe a darker shade like this. Okay, now you can remove this. Okay, and let's put this to the test. And if you hover on top, as you can see, we'll change from white to gray. So that's basically how you can do it. Okay, and then now we need to add our link. So you go here to settings and you can see that's right here. Okay, so all you have to do is basically type your URL. So I'm going to put a hashtag for now, and your target as well. So self, blank, parent, or top. So these are the usuals anyways, you know. And now you can design your hero section for any type of device. As you can see, this is full width. but you could have this for tablets and also mobile phones. So as you can see here, that doesn't look good on mobile phones at all. So you could change this very easily. So if you go back to the heading here and change those settings, so let's make the font a little bit smaller. So I don't know, let's try 1.2. Okay, maybe a bit bigger, 1.4. Okay, that's fine. And this one here, as you can see, the paragraph as well, the font is too big, you know. So let's try something a little bit smaller. Maybe just like this, and maybe we don't need the padding in this case. Okay, so as you can see here, so if you use the Alt key again, it will change on both ends. So maybe we could set this to, let's try 7%. There you go. And as you can see, you have perfect design now on mobile phones. If you go back on tablet, this is fine, and this is the full width like we had it. So once you change your settings here, it will not impact or affect the others, obviously, you know. These are all her separate designs for each device. Now, clearly, there's a lot more features and options that we could cover, but for the sake of this video, we're going to keep it short, you know. So I'm just going to show you very quickly. If you go to the hero section, you go to settings, you can see the tag here. Is it a div? Is it an article? Is it a footer, header, main, nav section or section? So again, you can define that very easily. You can have the class name and also the ID, obviously, you know, and you have all your CSS that's being displayed here. So you can have a quick look and see what's happening. So it's always very convenient. Now there's something else I'd like to show you with Web Studio that's absolutely clever. And this is called a slot. So as you can see, you have section, containers, box, and then elements here, okay, which is the usual one basically, okay, usual layout for a page. Now if you go to the plus sign, you find something that's called slot. So if I add this here, as you can see, we have a slot. Now inside my slot, I can insert a box perhaps, okay, and inside my box, I can add a few elements. So let's say maybe a heading, a paragraph, and let's go maybe with the link as well. Okay, so where's my link? Just here. Okay, so that's basically the inside of my slot. Now if I go and configure this, so if I go to the slot, I'm going to give it a name. So let's pretend this is your call to action section. Okay, so CTA section. Okay, and now I'm going to buy my box here. I'm going to change this a little bit. So I'm going to change the background color just to give you an idea here. Okay, so where's the image here? So color. So I'm going to select maybe something like this and add maybe a bit of padding all around. So if I hold the shift key, I can change all these at once. So I'm going to add maybe 40 pixels all around just like this. Okay, so now this is just an example, obviously, you know. So this is basically what is called a slot. So now the cool thing with the slot is that I can copy and paste it. As you can see, if I select this, or Control C and then Control V, there you go, it's been copied just underneath. And I can delete this one if I wanted to. And now the cool thing I'm going to show you, okay, if I go and create a new page, so I'll create a new page. So let's say maybe about us, and then create page. Now I can also paste it on my page, so Control V, and there it is. Okay, so we have it here. So if I go back to my initial page, so home page, and I go and make some changes. Let's say I want to change the color here, and I'm going to change this to perhaps a green this time. Okay, just like that. Okay, there you go. Now if I go back to my About Us page, as you can see, all the changes will take place throughout the whole website and all your pages. I mean, that's pretty cool, guys. And I think this is amazing. Very good. So the last thing I'd like to show you is the AI tool. So let's click on this. And as you can see, you can type your prompt. So for instance, let's use this one. It's a pre-made one. Okay, so create a hero section with heading, subheading in white, and da-da-dee-da-da-da. Okay, so basically this is what we've done here. So you saw what it took, maybe 10-15 minutes for us to design this the way it is at the moment. So let's see what AI can do for us and how fast it will create that. Okay, so let's create this together. And there you have it, guys. Okay, so if we expand this, you can see how this has been done. So we have the main body, a box, another box, and inside the box of an image. So it's slightly different layout, you know, but same principle regardless. And in this box here, we have the heading, the paragraph, and the button. So this is a nice starting point. I think it's not bad at all. Now, again, it's really up to you. Do you want to use AI or build everything from scratch yourself? In which case you can create your different sections and your different containers and include any boxes or any elements inside them. So there you have it. This is Web Studio. So as always, I'll leave all the links in the description below. So don't forget, guys, you can try this for free today, immediately at zero cost, and get started immediately with it. So as always, like I said, I'll leave all the links in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.